right, everybody, I'm back. This is part 3 of my Winter Wash and Go update and some of the things I just wanted to share with you. So we recapped the fact that I decided, I did my trial and error for 2 weeks, and I decided to stick to my regular regimen and not use my shea butter oil and my Kinky Curly, not today. I'm not using them. I'm going to stick to my regimen. I'm only adding my honey rinse. So welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice T. Evans, and I am so excited that you've decided to join me in this wash and go challenge. And I would like to teach you how the proper way to have your wash and go so that it is doing the 5 things that we've talked about, that Patrice's 5 things that define a wash and go. Okay, go into part 1 to learn what that is. I'll try to put that up here so that we're all on the same page. I'm also going to share with you what I've been taking in for my first 2 weeks of our Winter Wash and Go challenge, okay? I'm going to start with what I've taken in, and after that, I want to end with how to make it defined, how to make sure you're doing it the right way so that you can have it a wash and go as a protective style, as I'm believing you can, okay? So I have added my moringa to my vitamin regimen. I've been doing 2 a day and I've been loving it. I have been feeling great, okay? I have now decided to use my liquid biotin daily. It's been working fine for me. I actually take 2 full, I'm up to taking like 2 of these a day, okay? And it has a cherry taste. There's a strawberry, it's like a berry. Natural mixed berry flavor. Is delicious, actually. So I've been using this. I don't know if that sun's going to ruin it. There we go. 2 of these a day. I've been loving it. I've already drank a lot of water, and this is the thing. I have to drink like 1 or 2 of these just to take my vitamins in the morning. So there, I got 2 out of the way already. And I usually do it by water bottles. So go ahead and get your water bottles. It is 16 ounces. If you at least get 4 of these a day, that's the minimum of what I'm asking you to put into your body so that you can handle your MSM and your biotin, okay? The videos to follow, I will get into the MSM. This is for you now because this is time sensitive, because you're in your journey now. This is the middle of our month of October, and I just want to help you along the way to give you some things you can try out and see that works for you. For me, those things didn't work for me. So there, I just want you to let you know that my skin is looking great. I do not have any breakouts from the biotin, as you can see. All right. I have not been having any problems with it. I obviously am drinking enough water, and this is the tip I do want to share with you about biotin that will give you a great tip that I don't know if I have said so much to you that I'm not sure if I've covered this, so I'm going to cover it again. Update your, get more water in. But the other tip that I want to give you about this is take it with a multivitamin, okay? So 2 things. The MSM you want to take with vitamin C, because you are able to absorb it better with the vitamin C. And vitamin C goes through your body, so you can take as much vitamin C as you want, and you won't overload on that. It's probably water soluble. And biotin is also a water soluble. But the problem is that you can break out if you take too much. But you can take as much as you want of this too. It's just a matter of you breaking out. Take this with a multivitamin. It was meant to be taken with B12s and multivitamins. That's how it's going to absorb in your body better, and you'll have less breakouts and problems with breakouts. Look at other videos out there and you'll see that people are talking about that. So I just wanted to share that with you since I'm asking you to take it. And we're going into the end of the month. So if you think you're ready, please begin taking 1 a day or 1 every other day to see how it works on your face and on your skin. Make sure you're taking it with a multivitamin or with some B12 vitamins, okay? B12 complexes are supposed to be taken with this. And that's what I learned, so I hope that works for you. Moringa is just great, so go ahead and take your moringa. I believe this is telling you to take 1 a day or 2 a day. I take 2 a day. This one's from India. So there's some from Africa, India. It is a plant, okay? And definitely keep taking your water. So there you go. You want to take water because we're taking so many very strong things that clean out our body. With the MSM, the moringa, and all these different things that are cleaning out your body, and usually that comes out in your skin, but if you have water, it can flush out of your body, okay? And so do what you need to do to clean out your body. I want to tell you something that this is just a little push-in. I've done a little research on setbacks in hair and all kinds of things. And I didn't realize how much your inside of your body affects your hair. I mean, if you have a sickness of some sort, you literally can have thinning and breaking hair. I know it sounds like some of you like no duh. I just don't think when you're healthy, you're thinking about that. You know what I mean? When you're healthy, you're not thinking about how some things can be developing in your body that can be affecting your hair. If you know you're doing a great regimen and you're not getting a decent amount of hair, this is a week's worth of my hair that came out from breakage and from shedding. Even doing something that I think is a little much on my hair, that's the most I lost in a week. So that means I'm healthy, my hair is healthy, and things are going well. That is not bad for a whole week. Because I keep my hair stretched as much as possible. I always keep it separated. And this was my cut, when I cut out my single strands knots after 3 months. This is 3 months that I waited before. I don't know if we can see it. There's so much sun. You know, I gotta figure out how to deal with this sun thing. Anyway, I'm saying it again because I said it on the other videos, and I'll put the other part 1 and 2 up there so that you can go into part 1 and 2. All right, so I'm going to recap the 5 things that are the most important for a true protective styling of your hair. The definition is what we're focusing on, not the words protective style, but the definition and why. Why do we need to protect our hair? Because it's kinky and it's dry, and the oils from our hair scalp does not get to the ends because of the kinks and the turns and the curls. It does not reach the ends. So of course we got that going against us having the moisture we need. Then the fact that it's kinky makes it coil up on itself, which makes it possibly break because of single strand knots and fairy knots. That's going against us with our hair being moisturized. And then because it's so kinky and dry and it doesn't have the moisture at the ends, it breaks and it has split ends. So that's going against us. So what we need to do is find ways of combating that. And once we've combated it by, in other words, getting the moisture in the ends of our hair. Once we've combated getting the moisture, now we need to protect that moisture by sealing it in, right? And keeping it. But when it's moist and sealed in, we need to keep it from coiling on itself. And we got to keep it from being dry and brittle. Those are the 2 things. It coils on itself and it stays dry and brittle and it breaks. If we can get it from coiling on itself and staying dry and brittle, then I think we've licked that ends thing and we can take care of them. We can retain length. So the definition for why we use it, well, that's why we use it. But the definition to combat that dryness that gives us brittle and single strand knots and fairy knots is these 5 things. I, of course, came up with 5 things. So Patrice's 5 things of what a protective style really is would be to moisturize. And that's based on your porosity level. How you get that moisture in is based on your porosity level. You need to seal that moisture in with an oil, right? Then you need to coat your hair. Coat your hair with something. And when in coating it, you need to make sure that each strand or each group of curls are separated to the end. Okay, they're separated. And that comes in with stretching and with coating. Coating and stretching help you separate it, but it must be separated. Okay, that's my definition of what it means to have a protective style, if it covers those 5 things, right? The other 2 things that are vital for health, hair growth, health, and retention, which fits into protective styling, is taking care of your hair, your scalp health, and your ends health. So you need to be taking care of your scalp, and you need to be taking care of your ends. Those are 2 big things if you did nothing else, but you just took care of your ends and your scalp. Before I knew my regimen, I would wash my hair. Well, that took care of my scalp, kept it clean. Then I would condition it, wash off the conditioner, and I would put coconut oil on my ends and just do like the little curly curls, because I stretched it out, and I did a little coconut oil on my ends so that it has the little curls on the ends, but I wanted my hair to TWA, didn't even realize that that's what it was called, but I wanted to have a little bit of length, and then I would do the ends and the curls, and I used coconut oil. That's all I did because I didn't know what I was doing, so I just figured I'd try to do something to my hair. What I was doing was taking care of my scalp and my ends at the very least, right? That hair is still on my head right now. It got me to May when I really got more serious. So if you really don't have a clue what you're doing, if you're at least washing your hair with sulfate-free shampoo and silicone-free conditioner, and you just wash it, condition it, and use a t-shirt to towel it, you know that much, and you just put coconut oil on it as long as your hair can handle that. Well, even if it got dry, straw-like, who cares? If that's the worst thing that coconut does to your hair is makes it straw-like, well, as long as it doesn't pop out. So I did that to my ends, and I used my satin pillow, and that's all I knew to do. And it kept me going until I got to where I am now. So I was probably getting single strand knots. I don't know what it was going. It was growing at least, and it was being taken care of. And that's all I knew to do. I didn't know anything else to do. I was moisturizing it as best as I could, and I was sealing it with coconut oil. That's all I knew to do. So if you could at least get your scalp and your ends, pay attention to those two in the meantime until you get better at your porosity level and how to get stuff in there, how to layer and all that. At least you're doing something. So that's my definition of the 5 things you need to protect your hair. Now that we're only going to look at the definition, I'm going to take those words protect us out, because once we say that, our brain goes right to braids, right to twists, right to wigs, right to weaves, and I don't want your brain to do that. I want it to look at the definition of what it means to protect your hair and protect it from the elements and protect it from being dry and brittle. So that means those 5 things are what we're focusing on, not the words protect your style, but the 5 things, the 5 basic things to keep your hair healthy and retain length, okay? So let's just focus on retaining length and keeping it healthy. So with that in mind, I want to teach you how to use wash and goes as a way to protect your hair and retain length, okay? And the things to keep in mind that you would need to do is make sure, like I did when I decided to take these things out, when I put them in to try them out, and then I said, the reasons why I took them out is because my hair was getting frizzier, and I started noticing that they were curling on themselves because I felt single strand knots, and I was not happy. So I said, then I'm X-naying that, because then it takes away those last 3 things. I'm supposed to keep them separate, and I'm supposed to keep them coated and stretched and separate. So this is what they look like when they're separate and stretched. You see that? So my ends are stretched and separate. Okay? You do not have to tuck your ends in for it to be a protective style. This is separate and stretched. Because I have fine hair, I don't always like it separate and stretched because it looks so stringy. But I've got to take the good and the bad. We're looking for the sweet spot. We're looking for that balance. We're looking for that space where we're taking care of all of the things we need to do, and we're enjoying the kinks and curls, but we're not getting rid of our beautiful curls and kinks, right? So I think that's where I'm going to compromise. I'm going to have to deal with any little stringiness that I might see. Now, the ironic thing is that when I did this before, my hair was all, I don't know if you remember my videos, but it was like messy. It wasn't as uniformed as this. Look at that. That's so uniform. It's like falling down and everything. It's laying. When I have this in my hair, the shea butter mixture of oils and shea butter, which is my growth oil, olive oil and grapeseed oil. I made it a little thinner. When I added this so that I can begin a winter wash and go routine and protect my ends, and I added this to my regimen, as well as my honey, which I'm going to keep because I like it, I noticed that my hair was a mess. It was like messy. It felt, you know what it felt like? It started to feel like grease. Because you know me, I do it every night. So I started adding up, and then I lessened, oh, I forgot to tell you this. Not only did I add this, but I lessened that baking soda. Remember we were talking about baking soda? I lessened it so that I can be more gentle with my hair. I don't think those 2 things together worked. My hair started feeling like I had grease on it. So what I ended up doing is starting over and doing this. So this is, you look at my full routine, which I'll put up over here, so that you can begin to join in and see if it works for you. But I looked at some other girls and I commented on her channel because she has such beautiful hair. It's growing fine. Nothing bad's going on with it. But it didn't look like it was being, the gel was being worked in. And she kind of shut me down, you know, like, no, I think I'm doing fine. I'm like, okay, all right, just trying to help. But let me at least let you know what I think of it. Because I've been putting gel in my hair my whole life. Because with curly hair like this, you love gel. Trust me, when you have curly hair. So ever since I was little, I've been putting gel in my hair. I know how to put gel in my hair. So I know you're supposed to saturate it in the gel. You're supposed to really make sure it's all in there, you know? So my hair may be a little finer and easier to put gel in, and maybe her hair was thicker or your hair is thicker. So that means I would suggest you try these two if you have thicker hair and it's not as easy to saturate your hair in gel. Not only that, but condition your hair to be moist. You need to probably get maximum hydration. Wash and goes work best when your hair is hydrated. So you may need to work the next 2 weeks getting maximum hydration, which goes with our clays. If you're using my wash and go full wash and go routine, there's a lot of hydration in it. And then I have the honey in there, and it's just like it's a lot of hydration. So after 2 weeks of doing that, you're repairing your hair. Your hair just may not be hydrated in general. So it doesn't matter what you put on your hair, right? With skincare, Mary Kay, we always said that if you're not taking care of the skin underneath, then the makeup is not going to go on well. You can put as much foundation as you want on your skin, but because your skin, you have dead skin, you haven't exfoliated, and you haven't been taking care of your skin or the stuff inside, drinking water, then your makeup is not going to go on well. It's all about the skincare with Mary Kay. It's really about the skincare. The makeup is like icing on the cake, but you're really taking care of your skin. That's what you're doing. So that's what we're going to have to do. To get a good wash and go, it starts with hydrating your hair, and that's over time. Because if you've had dry, brittle hair for a long time and you're just beginning, you need to go through the process of maximum hydration. Look that up. I think I was doing that without realizing it, and I drench my hair every night. So I believe the first few months, or the first month, I was hydrating my hair till it got to a point where the gel worked better, because now my hair's hydrated. So if you're constantly keeping it dry and then you want to put some gel on there, it's kind of a lot for the gel to do. You're making it work kind of hard, don't you think? So let's start to hydrate our hair. Hydrate means agua, water. So drink water, hydrate yourself, and literally saturate your hair in water. For years, African people with kinky curly hair, we were scared of water because we were told with the perm and with other things that it would mess up our hair. We were scared of shrinkage. We didn't know what to do with the kinks. It was going to be knotty, you know, and we're right. It was going to get knotty. We didn't know what to do. Now we're solving that with the 5 steps, right? We're staying in that sweet spot of loving those kinks and those curls, but keeping it from being knotty where we're pulling out our hair and we're getting more than this in a week, you know? What's the use of putting your hair up in something all week, and then by the end of the week, you got this big lump of hair that you have to get it out? So we want to keep it constantly tamed and stretched and clumped and separated so regularly that it doesn't take much. The low manipulating that we are doing is so low that we're not losing hardly any hair. It's constantly in this state. That's what we're trying to do with our wash and goes. So let me define with this video what we mean by our wash and goes, not just any old wash and goes, because I see some beautiful girls with this big hair and it's all fluffy, and then they're like, and I'm like cringing when I see them go like that, fluffing their hair up, and it's like fluffy, and I'm just like, no, don't do that to your hair. Now I have fine hair, so I really don't need to be doing that. Now I do a little bit of picking in the morning and it's done. Low manipulation, if you're doing what I'm doing, we're barely manipulating our hair, barely touching our hair. We want that gel to go on so well that you barely are doing much to your hair. So you are doing everything it takes to have a protective style. We're doing more with our hair. We're doing the best form of a protective style that there is out there, because we're taking care of it. We're not smothering it with a wig, and we're moisturizing it. We're doing so well. This is probably the best way you can do it if you can handle wash and goes. So if you need help with making your wash and goes better, just go ahead and hydrate it for a week or 2 by using your clays and by drenching it with water and putting your gel right on it right away. Never let it shrink up. Put your gels up in there and tie it up at night. Let it dry throughout the night, natural dry. And keep heat away from your hair. We're not doing dryer, blow dryers and all that if we can afford it. Now, it's easy for me to say because I have fine hair. It's really easy for me to say some things because I don't have a lot of hair to dry. But for you, if it's harder, then yeah, do what you have to do to dry your hair, but cover it with something. But don't use blow dries directly on your hair. You're defeating the purpose, because those 5 things, you will be messing up those ends. The vital 2 things, you'll be messing up those ends, okay? And your scalp, drying it out. Okay, so what we're going to do to make sure that we are getting true wash and goes that are at the standard that I believe they should be, to really be protecting it, is you want to do the steps that I do, but when we get to the part of getting the gel in there, whatever you do, I'm not using this because it doesn't make my hair defined, so I'm not using it. This may, but I don't have time to worry about that because I like the way it looks anyway. So if you want to do that, that's fine. So I'm putting the honey in there, and I'm keeping that deep conditioning, not washing it out, makes a difference in my hair. I can see a difference when I do it. So I put that in there, and I have the Giovanni's deep conditioners, not fully rinsed out, with warm to hot water. I add this in there. I kind of get some of the excess water out. I seal it with my oil. My oil comes on under this, always. I seal it with my oil, seal all that moisture in with my oil. Then I'm rinsing some of that oil off, because I have to drench my hair in cold water to seal my hair up as a low porosity and to put a lot of water so this works. So it is messy, and it is not fun to have your hair dripping with water with then the greens dripping down and everything's dripping. It's not fun, but you must go through these steps if you want a true defined wash and go. So it's drenched. Go to my full routine if you're not sure. Drenched everywhere in sections. Then I'm taking a good amount. Okay? I saw this girl, she was like, okay, and her hair is full of the mind. This is what she put in her hair. And she was just like painting it on there. I was like, girl, are you serious? If you're used to having curly hair, then you are a gel girl. If you're used to having curly hair, get that stuff up in there. This is some gel. That's gel. And don't worry about it. You know what? Let me tell you, you're going to spend money on that weave. You're going to spend money on getting your hair you're going to spend money on your hair, aren't you? Somewhere. So spend the money on the growth oil, and spend the money on the gel, spend money on that deep conditioner. Spend that money, invest in your hair, and get that deep conditioner. Get your growth oil at the level you can afford it with the main ingredients, and spend that money on that gel. Because this is going to keep your hair coated and separated, and you're going to be able to retain your length. So we're so busy spending money we'll spend money on a hat, or the drop of a dime on braids and on weaves and on wigs. So don't do it on that. Say, with this budget, instead of putting it on the wigs and the hair and the weave and getting my hair did, that's going to cost me about $140, maybe more. Well, then just buy your gel. Let this be your thing. Tell your husband, your family, that, well, this is my thing. This is the thing I'm spending my money on. Well, they need to give me money for sponsoring this stuff, right? Because I love what it does for my hair. And stick with something. Now, excuse me. If you like Echo Styling Gel, go for it. But I noticed I was getting breakage at the ends. And remember the 5 things? So, done. No. And it was hard. And I could feel the alcohol. I didn't like it. This is slippery, very slippery. When I don't have this stuff on it, it's slippery. I think it's more slippery without this. But it's for what I did. It could be this. This could be the whole culprit. And this was probably fine. But I'm not willing to waste my time with it because I like what it looks like. So, slippery. I love that slip. I like that it's natural, botanical, meaning plant-based. I like that it does this clumping. It does that coating. Look at that. It's sealed. It does exactly. Go on YouTube and look at some other people. It only has positive reviews. If you guys start with a gel, invest in. It's not cheap, but this is where you need to invest. Do you want hair? Do you want to retain your length? Do you want to enjoy your curls? Then you're just going to spend some money on the thing that does it. Just cut out everything else. You don't have to spend money on all those other products and all those other things. Just spend the money where it matters. On your growth oil, on your gel, and on your deep conditioner. That's where you need to be spending your time and your energy and your money, because that's what's giving you those 5 things that are going to retain your length. Okay? So now once you get it in there, you need a nice amount. Your hair dripping. You need to get it. You need to be combing through, saturating every strand. You need to. Now I don't do that shingling. I instead do this. I go in and I squeeze, and I'll put the video on top, if I can figure out how to do it. But I'm combing through with my fingers, and I'm really squeezing it in there. I'm not going to go to another part till I know that that's saturated in there. Literally part your hair into pieces and saturate it. Really get it in there. It's not fun. It's gooky. It's disgusting. But you need to let that, it's got to get into that part. Then go into another part. And then take it and do the same thing. Don't be just putting it on. Stay in that area for a minute. When you start feeling like that it's slip, it's really slipping well, now you got it. Clip it with that. Now do another piece. Remember I said do the parts that you don't like the most first because you're tired, and then go to the easier parts. These are my easier parts. They slip easily. This is my kitchen, so I do the back here, the kinkier areas first. Sometimes I do this, but I do this first just to get it done where I have the most energy, and then when I get tired, then I can do the areas that are the easiest, which is down here in these sides and the front. That's the easiest. They're the silkiest and the most tamed, and their maximum hydration. I think I have maximum hydration. I think it's silky. I think it's just easy, beautiful. And that's over time of conditioning and taking care of it. When you do that the way you're doing it, and you got it done, you got it all done. Now it's gooky, wet, saturated. Ugh. So I take my fiber towel, microfiber towel, and I start squishing some of the excess stuff off. And then I start I always do at night, which I encourage you to do because it's in the winter. And I start to push this part back and pin it. I pull this back and pin it. I take the bang and pull that back and pin it. I take this side across and pin it. Then I take this part here and pin it up. And it's all flat. I take my scarf and I tie it. And it takes about 6 to 7 hours to dry. And then I come out and do it so hard and tough. And the cast starts to go out, but that's what I need to get that hard cast. I didn't want that when I first started noticing that fluff, because I thought, I like this fluffiness and softness. It's so soft, and it's soft, but it was beginning to curl upon itself. That softness didn't translate into something good for me. This is training your hair. You're training your hair when you do that all the time. It's constantly being coated. You go from rinsing to coating, rinsing to coating. You are covering your hair all the time. I tried to twist out in this whole thing, and when I twisted it, I was like, ooh, I'm not used to running my fingers down my hair like this. This is a lot. That's more manipulation than this. Twisting my hair out was more manipulation than this, because I have the gel when I'm doing this. And I'm squeezing. And sometimes I'm doing this and I'm squeezing it in, squeeze it. Really, you'll know when it's really in there. Shalonda One was the one that talked about really getting it in there. Getting that really in there. She's a big curly girl, wash and go girl. And her hair looks just like mine. But I think it's a little thicker than mine, the strands. But it looks so much like mine. But she's into products. So I'm not really into products. But there is a product that she used that I did like. But I don't do products. I just do this product, the Giovanni, and my Ayurvedic system. So, really work it in. Don't be afraid of water. We have come a long way from where we used to be. We used to be afraid of using water. We thought it was bad for our hair. We thought it was not good for our hair. It's good. I want you to test your hair. Even if you don't believe in drenching your hair every night, I would like for you to test drenching your hair every other night for the next week, okay? If you like it and you want to do it every night, go for it. But that means you're washing this out and you're starting all over again with that part from the shower. So you're rinsing it out at the end of the day, drenching your hair, squeeze the water in there, feel the gel washing off, drench that water all in there, rinse all the gel out, all of it out. Massage your scalp, get it off your scalp, all that gel. We shouldn't be putting it on our scalp anyway, but sometimes it just gets, because when I wrap my hair, I worry about it being on my scalps, because there's not much I could do when I wrap it. Put a little bit of your Giovanni back in there, rinse some of it out, not all of it, and start all over again. Do that every other day at least. If you're like me and you're willing to do it every day, do it every day. But that's going to mean, you're going to run out of this quicker. But at least drench your hair every other day. Tell me what you think. Comment below on how it works for you. And don't be afraid of drenching your hair and sealing in the moisture with oil and and the honey if you're going to use that. Get used to water in your hair, even in the winter, but at night. And then do what you have to do to stretch it. You know, if you're going to wrap it somehow. I use bobby pins. I don't love that I have to use bobby pins, but for now, that is something I don't like on my scalp, but I have to use because I have to take the good with the bad. I'm just trying, if I feel pain, I start to take it out or I pull it out or anything. So I try to be as gentle as I can with my scalp. Remember the two vital things, your scalp and your ends. So we got this balancing act with our hair. It's crazy, right? So you're not alone. We're in this together, okay? Really drench your hair with water and really saturate it with your gel so that you can really get the benefits of it. And try to stay away from the scalp when you're doing it, when you're putting in the gel. Stay away from the scalp like a quarter of an inch. Like just don't go on the scalp as much as you can so that you're not smothering your scalp. It will get on the scalp when you wrap it anyway somehow, but you're washing it out at night anyway. So drench your hair every other night if you can. I do it every night and start all over again. But notice, I take this, it's not touched all day. I go in the shower, drench it. Now I'm touching it. Look at me touching it. Drenching it out. Put in my deep conditioner, Silk. It's not kinky. Rinsing most of it. Putting my this in there and then my oil and then this in there. When I manipulate my hair, I've got slip always. Talk about low manipulation. I never manipulate my hair unless it's slip. Think about it. Then I wrap it, stretched, and then I just pull it back out. I put oil in my hands in the morning, pull it back out, and that's it. That's my manipulation. That's the extent of our manipulation on our hair. That's it. How could you go wrong? Look how much I lost in a week. We got an amazing wash and go going on here, girls and guys, if you're following me. My lovelies. So look at the definition of protective styling and make sure you're doing it the right way before you pigeonhole something as being one way or another. There are a lot of people doing wash and goes poorly. They're not doing a good job with their wash and goes. And it's really creating single strand knots. They're not doing it right. Okay? So there is another girl on here that agrees with me. And she's saying the same thing. A few other people, not many. And their hair is growing just fine. Now, I don't think that everybody that is doing it is saturating their hair or their hair has its maximum hydration so that it actually defines it. But you don't stop until your hair is defined. What does defined mean? Separate, like that. If it is not defined and separate like that, you did not do it well enough, or something's wrong with your hair where it's not hydrated enough. You're not at that maximum wash and go level until it is defined, because that's when it's a protective style. That's when it is doing well. It's coated and it's protected and separate and stretched. Does that make sense? I think you get what I'm saying. If you have any questions, definitely comment below. Remember to use the right scissors and don't use your scissors for anything else but your hair. Okay? This is my journal book. I got it for Mother's Day. Normally she would be a woman of color, but because it was a gift, I'm not going to do anything. Usually I would color it just so she's a woman, just to match me. And but I've always loved Wonder Woman since I was little. So this is my journal. I've already journaled my stuff in here. It was a gift from my son and my husband, so I'm just very grateful for it, and I love Wonder Woman, so I'm not going to alter her skin or her anything like I always do. My kids know me, I always do that, because I always figure I want to represent me in things, so I always color things, you know, just give them a little bit of color. Anyway, long story. Anyway, that's just me. That's how I do things. So I love you guys so much. I hope that I helped in some way. The goal for this part of the video is, I don't want to blanketly just say wash and go. I want to make sure you're doing Patrice's version, Patricia's wash and go challenge version. We want optimum definition, and we want to make sure we're filling in those 5 things for protecting our hair with our wash and go. And so if you're afraid of gook and you're afraid of water, and you're afraid to really get up in there and get that good going, you're going to see some of your green stuff coming out. Everything's going to be coming out. It's going to be dripping everywhere. You're going to have to put a towel on the floor. You're going to probably have to put something around you. It's going to be splatting on the walls. That's what you got to do. You decide. Remember the sweet spot? A sweet spot would mean you got to find that middle ground that takes care of the goals we need without compromising other things. And so if you got to wipe up the floor and you got to spend money and you got to wipe the walls to avoid having alopecia from the wigs or dry messed up ends from your braids, or neglecting your hair, not protecting your hair over time, then do those you have to decide which things will I compromise. Which things are going to be the uncomfortable things that I'm going to allow? Because with our kinky curly hair in this Western world, there will be some things we're not going to like. Which are the things we're going to be willing to accept in our lives to get that sweet spot where we're loving our kinks and curls, but we're not letting the kinks and curls take over so much that it actually breaks off. That's what we don't want. So we want to find that sweet spot. And I don't think enough people are sharing with you what they're losing. This proves to me that I'm not doing too bad. And I did it with